watched him grow since he was little. Now he's over 30 years old. Where does the time go? And so so as a fellow parent, I'm congratulating you on being so successful. Very handsome too, huh? So, question about maintaining things inside space station. So even before we send up parts of space station to space, we wipe it down with all different kinds of disinfectant. So when it gets to space, it's safe. Then when we go into space, before we go to space, we are in quarantine for 14 days at least, and we get to space so we don't put too many things in contaminate space station. Then on the weekends, every Saturday, we have to wipe down things on space station and try to keep it very sanitary. And then about every 2 or 3 months, we do surface sampling. We take little like Q-tip swabs and we put them in petri dishes and we see if there's anything growing on the inside of space station. We also take air samples. And anybody who studied microbiology, we do all the standard microbiology things. So I didn't study microbiology in college, but I'll tell you what, I'm a very smart microbiologist now because of all the things that we have to learn as astronauts. So it's a very interesting thing, but it's a very safe environment. In fact, there are so few pathogens and things in space that, along with weightlessness, our immune systems aren't challenged. When we come back from space, like even more immune deficient. So we have to be really careful that we don't get sick when we come back to planet Earth.
Okay, let me ask you the second one. Is more of a joke than anything else. I've,
Ah,
I've heard that the ticket to Mars will be marked one-way ticket. Is it true?
so that's a good question, right? So when you made your first trip coming from Assam, and maybe you came straight to U.S., maybe you went somewhere else, but did you buy a round trip ticket or a first one, right? When you were going to be a colonist or an immigrant to someplace, did you buy a round trip ticket, or you say, hey, I'm going to go do my best there, and if it doesn't work, I'll figure out how to go back. And so it's the same kind of thing. When you go to Mars, are we going to go as colonists or are we going to go as visitors? And that's a really good question. So I think the first people that go to Mars, there won't be an infrastructure there. They won't be able to make it on their own. Just like there's some colonies, Roanoke or Jamestown, right, in the U.S., not U.S. at the time, but in North America, they didn't bring enough equipment. They were a bunch of silly people that wanted to get away from England, but they didn't do their homework, and their colony died out. So when we go to Mars, we're going to go there. We're going to make sure that we can sustain people. In the first couple rounds of people going to Mars, I think we'll have a round trip ticket. But eventually, we're going to send people that are going to make their way there, and that'll be their life, and maybe their life for their kids and their great grandkids. And it's a very interesting thing. It's a scary thing, but it's man, the first people on Mars are going to get all the streets named after them because they can make their own streets.